decided you weren't going to seek another term. What changed your mind?
The circumstances of today. When I left office, I was really proud of what we'd accomplished. I left office with a record level of employment in our state, with a budget with a $900 million surplus. And now I see, in the last session of the legislature and the governor spent more than ever. Then they took the one-time federal stimulus money and spent it on a lot of it on ongoing expenses. And just today, for the first time, the governor has acknowledged we're facing a potential $1 billion budget deficit in this next fiscal year. And they helped create that by the decisions that were made last year, including going out and borrowing another $830 million on top. I think that's bad judgment. And I believe that we need to get our fiscal house in order. We had the budget balanced on generally accepted accounting principles. We had in place some very effective spending reforms, and they worked for about a decade. And then the legislature and the governor just whittled away at them and circumvented them and got to the point now we have this tremendous budget mess that's facing the state of Iowa. And it's going to take multiple years to get it straightened out. But even more importantly is we need to focus on creating good quality private sector jobs that's going to cause the state to grow and prosper. And that's where I believe I have the background and experience to do that in a hands-on way to make a real difference for the state.
When Hillary Clinton ran, the nation sort of found out that Bill Clinton, like any older point guard in an NBA, had lost his step, that his political instincts had sort of atrophied during his time out of office. Can you guarantee Republicans that you still have the acumen and the instincts to run in 2010?
Well, first of all, I would ask people to look at what I've accomplished at Des Moines University. When I came here, people said, well, I was given a clear charge by the then chairman of our board, Dr. Gil Russell. In fact, I was surprised. I was a junior member of the Board of Trustees when he approached me and said, have you considered applying to be the president of Des Moines University? My response was, well, no, I'm not a doctor. And he said, what we're really looking for is somebody to help us raise visibility, respect, and recognition of the school, raise money for the school, and manage and oversee the operation. That was the mission that I was sent here to do. And I believe I've accomplished that mission. But the way I've accomplished that mission is not just me. It's the team we put together. It's the deans. It's the vice presidents. It's the faculty. It's the staff. It's everybody working together. We have added a provost and a chief information officer in the last year. And as a result of that, I'm leading Des Moines University in a very strong position with good leadership. Steve Bengal is going to be the new interim president. He's been the executive vice president for many years. He has great institutional knowledge, and he's got the respect to lead the school during this interim, and they will do a search for a new president. So I want to use the knowledge and the experience I've gained at Des Moines University. I believe also the knowledge I now have about higher education and about health care will make me more effective if I have the opportunity to be the governor in the future.
You say critics who point to the fact that you raised taxes while you were doing your business.
Well, it's interesting that critics like to pull things out of context. They don't mention all the taxes we cut. And maybe I should share with you some of those taxes that we cut. When I became governor, the court system was financed by property taxes. A good share of mental health was paid for by property taxes. We still had inheritance taxes on children and grandchildren. And we eliminated the inheritance tax on all anyone descendants, on children and grandchildren. The income tax we cut across the board for everybody, and we brought the top rate down from 13% to 8.98%. Property tax, which are the most unpopular taxes in our state. We got rid of property taxes paying for the cost of the court system. We reduced the share of property taxes that went to mental health and had more state aid for that. Education is the big area. You know, this is across the board cut. The governor just made is going to dramatically increase property taxes paying for K through 12 education. But what I did was increase the amount of state aid, and so that the share that was paid by property taxes was dramatically reduced by hundreds of millions of dollars, and that was replaced with state dollars. So if you look at the whole picture, and yes, we did raise the sales tax, but the sales tax in Iowa, when I left office, was still less than most of our neighboring states and less than the average in the country. But the property taxes, the percentage of property tax paying for services, especially things like the court system, mental health, education, was reduced significantly. Inheritance taxes were eliminated. The income tax, which had been 13%, was reduced to 8.98, and we fully maintained federal deductibility, which I always strongly support because they don't want a tax on the tax. So I will be glad to debate anybody on my record on taxes. But this isn't about the past, it's about the future. And I want a future of growth and job opportunities, and that's where I think the focus needs to be, along with restoring fiscal responsibility and getting the budget, again, balanced on generally accepted accounting principles, like we did, in a bipartisan way. Remember, some of you weren't around in 1991, 92, but in 91, 92, I appointed a group called the Committee to Reform State Spending. It became known as the Fisher Commission, because it was chaired by David Fisher. They came up with a whole series of ideas to get spending off autopilot, to get the budget balanced on generally accepted accounting principles for public entities for the first time in Iowa history. And you know, it took not only one session, but it took 2 special sessions before the legislature finally got it right. But I kept bringing them back and bringing them back until we got the job done, and we got it done right. And the goal was we're going to balance the budget on generally accepted accounting principles, and we're going to have this cash reserve and economic emergency account, and we're going to accomplish it in 3 years. We thought that's pretty ambitious. We accomplished it in 2 years. And before I left office, we were able to cut the income tax across the board and eliminate the inheritance tax because